Hey, welcome everybody to episode 77 of the Freedom Frequency. My name is Aaron Bowman, and it has been a few weeks since we have had anything on this channel, and I guess you can look at me and tell why. I had another eye surgery. So before we get into all that and the updates and stuff that's going on around here in Connecticut and in other places, let's take care of some housekeeping. So if you are looking for more content, if you're looking for more things regarding associations, common law, living a freer life, preparedness, homesteading, all that stuff, you can head over to the East Coast PMA for more content and blog posts there. I will be updating that this week now that I am not face down anymore. And also, if you are looking for more information regarding associations, make sure you check out the Facebook group, the Freedom Frequency. It's going to be a minute here. It's been a while since I've talked. The Freedom Frequency podcast. You can find that on Facebook. You can also join the PMA Manifesto Facebook group where you can connect with the two Angelas, Erica, and myself over there with other things regarding associations. That's a very active group. So Erica lets people in every Wednesday after they're vetted. So now would be a good time to get over there and sign up. And then you can also find the Telegram group, the Freedom Frequency, if you want to go on there and ask some questions. So today we really don't have an agenda. There's no agenda for today. It's just hey, I'm back. Let me tell you what's been going on. Let's look at some of the things that are going on in the world. And I think that's going to do it. Oh, we got one more for Start 9. So if you are like me and you want to take back some of your computer sovereignty, you want to head over to the folks over at Start 9. You want to get one of their servers over there. If you can use a cell phone, you can use their server. So I'm going to play a little bit from them, but if you go over there, you can use the code Rebel Alliance to get 5% off.
We all save our data, but where is it saved? In the cloud, which is actually this building in one of these computers with millions of others. This is called a honeypot, a single place full of data worth a hacker's time to steal. But instead, if you saved your data on your own computer at home, you wouldn't be worth the attack. Saving your own data is easy. Simply plug in a Start9 device and start saving all your own data today. So, will you stay in the honeypot, or will you take control of your data? Start now. Start9.
All right. So you can head over to Start9, use the code Rebel Alliance. I know a bunch of you have used that already, and I appreciate that. So feel free to jump over there and use that code to get 5% off. Now, let's dive into today's topic, or no topic, I should say, because it is the no agenda episode today. We really don't have anything specifically regarding associations to talk about, but I do have some things about what's going on in the world. And then hopefully later on this week, depending on how things go, I have another announcement, but I'm not ready to let that cat out of the bag yet. So I don't expect anybody on the live stream today, to be quite honest with you. Most of you will probably catch us in a replay. And that's just because I've been gone for over a week and a half now, and we haven't had any episodes, and I didn't want to do any reruns. I don't even know if people these days know what reruns are, but any past episodes or anything like that, we are going to have Dr. Graves on from the Jurisdictionary course, or How to Win in Court Without a Lawyer, later on this week. I actually got to give him a call right after this episode to schedule that. Probably have Dave Merlin back on, and then a few others that I've been talking to bring them in to be able to discuss their courses and what they do, and just how you can keep bad actors accountable. So that being said, the biggest reason why I wasn't on this past week and a half is obviously the eye patch I had last August. A lot of you know that I detached my retina bridge jumping up in Maine with the kids. We were jumping off about a 50-foot bridge into the ocean. I must have already had damaged my retina. It could have been from the deployments overseas, jumping out of MRAPs or what have you, obstacle courses, different, competing in the Connecticut SWAT Challenge. There's a multitude of reasons of why I probably could have had already some micro tears in my retina. So the bridge jumping was kind of like the straw that broke the camel's back. Long story short, had that surgery done when I came back to Connecticut. Everything was looking good. I had gas in my eye. I had to wear this bracelet. I couldn't fly. And basically, I had to be face down for a week. So the gas pushes the retina back to where it's supposed to go. Now, that worked pretty well. I could see, it was kind of like looking through a Coke bottle for a while. And then I started losing my sight. Well, not losing, but started getting blurry again. And basically, the doctor was like, the gas is going to cause you to have an onset of cataracts really early. Depending on your body, sometimes it takes a little bit longer, but my body was just like, yep, cataract time. So I said, okay, that's why I can't see. I'm forming this really nasty cataract. So I went and had cataract surgery 3 weeks ago. Yeah, 2.5 weeks ago. I had cataract surgery done. Took the cataract out, put a lens in my left eye. Everything was great. The doctor's like, "Hey, how many fingers am I holding up?" I looked at her. I said, "I can't see. How many fingers you have?" And she's like, "Really?" I'm like, "Yep." She goes, "Nothing." I said, "A little bit on the side, but nothing right here." So I had to put drops in my eyes, leave there. Felt great. The surgery was piece of cake for any of you that have to get cataracts down the road. It's really not that bad. And then went back to my retinal doctor. He looked at my eye and he goes, "Dude, what happened? You've got more tears." And I was like, "Come on." So I had to have a more invasive surgery done where they basically knocked me out for an hour and a half on a table, opened my eye really wide, cut the white around my eye. They basically put a buckle in it. So they put this silicone band around my eye to squeeze my iris a little bit closer, or eyeball closer to the retinal, so the retina hits the cones and rods better. Then they put a silicone oil in my eye, hence the eye patch. I mean, you could probably see it. It looks, it doesn't actually look that bad on camera right now, but it's still pretty beet red. And with the oil, everything's super sensitive, so it's hard for me to see. I've got a little double vision going on, so that kind of sucks. So that's why I haven't been on here. That's basically in a nutshell. I can't cut down trees. I can't do anything around the homestead for at least another 3 weeks. 4 weeks of not lifting anything really stinks. So glad this is done though. Get it out of the way. Hopefully I get some good eyesight back. If I don't, I've lived without having sight in that eye now for almost a year. So I'm not really too concerned about it. I mean, I'm concerned, but I'm not too concerned. Like, I'm not going to lose sleep over it at this point. And I'm just glad this is all happening before we had the wife and I head down to Alyssa and I head to West Virginia, Sutton, West Virginia, for the Rogue Food Conference to meet up with the two Angelas to discuss associations. And I think we're going to be talking and debating with pro advocates there, something like that. I'm not 100% sure. So we're still working out details of what we're going to talk about, because I think we have like 30 minutes to kill, so to speak, with our presentation. So that's kind of what's going on here. Now, there are some other battles going on in the state, and I'm not going to get into too many details because I am working with a couple different individuals. They have ministries in the state, and in our state, and there's 4 or 5 others that are very similar to us here in Connecticut, where they have very loose statutes when it comes to, or loose laws when it comes to, religious organizations and education. So in Connecticut, basically, we have a statute that says if you have a religious institution, religious organization, and you provide education to your members' children, you do not have to be licensed by the Office of Early Childhood, OEC. So couple of people got set up in Connecticut. They didn't come through me. They came through some of, unfortunately, David Edwards' people. I had to help them out with some stuff. Get this lawyer Jay involved, who's a First Amendment constitutional attorney. He's really good. So we had a conversation a few weeks back, and basically these ladies that had these ministries were able to, with a little help from myself and Jay, were able to overcome kind of what the state was trying to do. Now, fast forward a year later, and there's more ministries popping up throughout the state that provide education to their members' children. Now, of course, the good old government's not going to like that, even though we should have a say on where we bring our kids and how our kids are educated. And if we want to bring them to a place that is unlicensed, that is a religious organization or a private education association or what have you, or dropping them off to grandma's house every week so she can homeschool, then that should be our decision. I don't think the government should necessarily be in that aspect, in telling us what we can and can't do with our children when it comes to education. So, the whole pandemic thing happened. A lot of people saw what their kids were learning in school. They were like, what the heck's going on here? I don't really approve of this, and all the other books and stuff that are being pushed and agendas. And, so a lot of people started homeschooling. Then people started saying, okay, well, now I got to go back to work. I'm not working from home anymore. How can we still do this homeschooling type atmosphere without having to deal with all the forced vaccinations, mask mandates, and all those things that were happening? So that's by where some of these religious organizations in the state said, "Hey, we have a ministry, or we want to set up as a ministry. We have a group of people that come together for a common goal." They know that basic, right of association aspect that we talk about on here all the time. And then some of them have reached out to me. I've helped them get set up, and they've been operating fairly well without really any issues. Now, all of a sudden, come April 1st, there were three ministries that I knew about that had all been contacted by the OEC, and they all received letters that, hey, we're going to be conducting an investigation on you. And I'm sorry, back that up. So before April 1st, they were all contacted, said, we're going to do an investigation. And they said, well, what should we give them? I said, well, give them the information that they're asking for. Let them know, you can tell them how many members you have. You can tell them what your schedule is like. You can tell them, the education that you're using, stuff like that, the hours of your operation. If they want to come in with a fire marshal inspect, well, they have to do that after hours or before you start your lessons or afterwards. One of them was actually in a temple. They were renting some spaces in a temple. I know of another one that's in a church, and there's some other ones that have like commercial spots that they meet. So provided all the documents to them. Everything kind of went through. Didn't hear anything for a while. A couple of the people that I was working with, had inquired like, "Hey, when are we going to hear something? What's going on?" And then basically on April 1st, a whole bunch of these ministries in Connecticut, three of them all got basically carbon copy letters saying, "We've conducted our investigation. We find that you are operating an illegal child care facility, and you need to basically sign this document saying you're going to get in compliance within so many days." And so, of course, nobody wants to do that because they feel that they are ministry. They are meeting with their members. They are providing education to the members' children only. They don't offer that public accommodation or anything like that. And so I said, okay, well, let's see what we can do here. So one by one, we started meeting and talking and coming up with a plan. And then I'm not going to release any videos yet until afterwards, where I'm in some of these meetings with the OEC, just because it's still ongoing. And once everything's done, I'll release the videos. But basically, I got on this video call with these individuals, and it was more of like, hey, we're not going to tell you if you're a ministry or not. We're just going to say you're not operating properly, or you didn't provide us enough information to show us that you're a ministry. And I'm like, that's kind of ridiculous. They didn't know that I knew that they had already ruled on two others back in 2022 and 2023 here in the state. They didn't know that I was involved. My name was kind of probably tossed around a little bit, but they didn't have a name with the face. Now they do. So we have this long, well, I'd say probably about a half-hour meeting. Basically, we're able to gather more time to resubmit more paperwork to basically show that, we're not just set up for education. There is that association aspect. There is that ministerial aspect where we're meeting with our members. Not me, I'm saying me, but they are meeting with their members on a regular basis, and so on and so forth. So that interview happened. We talked, and then after that, we've been waiting. Now, that happened right before my surgery. So that's about maybe 3 weeks now. We haven't heard anything back from the state as of yet. So now we're just kind of waiting. I was supposed to get on another call with an attorney. The ministry that I set up for this family, their attorney, myself, we're supposed to go on with the OEC. And after this meeting with the OEC, the next day, everybody's meetings were getting canceled. So I'm guessing they're probably trying to regroup because the state really hates this statute. I would assume at some point it's going to be removed through legislative sessions, just because they can't put their talons into what these individuals are doing. And they have a sincere religious belief. They should be allowed to associate. They should be allowed to provide Judeo-Christian based education to their members if that's what they choose to do, or anything along those lines. And a lot of these people don't like that because now they don't have that control. And this is where I feel personally that, our government has gotten too fat and happy, has gotten too big. We need a leaner, less intrusive government. So that's kind of what's been going on with the whole I thing, what's going on here in Connecticut. And now I'm going to, let's see here, share my screen. So a lot's happened since the last video before I get into this. We've had Trump going to criminal trials. We have Israel and Hamas, fighting. Iran sent over 300 something drones and missiles, which I think was kind of just like a play on the world stage, so to speak. I think Israel knew it was coming. I don't. I shouldn't say I don't think Israel knew it was coming, but like Turkey knew from reports. That means if Turkey knows, the U.S. knew, and so I think it was kind of like, hey, we'll let you show a little force, but we're going to shoot all your shit down before it even gets into Israel, and then we're just going to say that's it. Okay, everybody's done. Let's go back in the sandbox and play nicely. So, anyways, now we have things spilling into the streets here in the U.S. So not only have we had a bridge that came down, which I'm pretty sure was sabotage to some extent because of where it was and how it infiltrated the infrastructure, or how it upset the infrastructure for supply and demand and stuff like that, and getting out different things for the supply chain. Now you have you have Columbia University. Now I live in a university town, right? So I'm not far from UConn, and seeing what's happening on some of these other town or other colleges starts to make me worried a little bit. Like, yes, I am in a rural community. Yes, I am in the sticks. I can't see my neighbor's house, which is great. We have our homestead, but this stuff's now spilling out. So the most recent one, and I think this is from, let me use my good eye. When is the date on this? This was just a couple days ago. I don't have the actual date here in the article, but basically, Colombia protesters call for killing Israel soldiers, and it's all these Hamas individuals getting and flying the Hamas flag, and you know, uh, chanting "Death to Americans" and all this stuff. And this is happening in our college campuses. I think it was Columbia that today they couldn't even go to campus; they had to do all online learning. So not only are you paying probably 60 grand a year for these schools or more. I know the law school I'm hoping to start in the fall, once all this is all done. Is Trinity Law School, and they're like 70 grand a year, and it's online. So I can't imagine what some of these places are like in person. And I know UConn's expensive. So my point is you have this stuff here. So let me just pull this up for you so you can see. Where's my mouse? There it is. So you got this here. Hopefully you guys can all hear this. Okay, so that's on a campus here in the United States that is uh at this is Columbia, and it's just it just blows my mind that this is happening at our college campuses right now. And what worries me is the fact that I am in a college town, or anybody that lives near a college town. If it happens on one campus, what's keeping it from happening on yours? And don't ever say it just can't happen. It could, and this is why, again, I think not only is preparedness a really just a way of life and how we should be doing things, along with having your association, your group of like-minded people that get together to support each other, to help learn different life skills, but also building your supplies up in your preparedness skill sets. Because if something like this kicks off, what if it gets really bad? What if they have to call in the National Guard or something like that, and you can't get to the grocery store, roads are blocked? Like, I think they've just blocked what was it, the Brooklyn Bridge, or no, it was the Golden Gate Bridge, I think, in San Francisco. They had blocked off. There's a couple bridges that, if that was the other side of the fence, so let's say you're conservatives that were stopping traffic on a bridge for 3 or 4 hours, they'd all be in jail. But for some reason, it's okay to allow this to happen. And this is why I think we're definitely a train off the tracks here, and you need to start connecting with other like-minded individuals to start building your communities. Because at the end of the day, you can't expect the GOV to come in and save us. It's just not going to happen. We're going to have to rely on ourselves, whether it's getting your gardens going, whether it's water storage, food storage, or any type of other outdoor life skills that will help you. Because let's just say something breaks out here in the campus near my house, and I can't get to the grocery store, or I can't get across town because roads are blocked off. Now, we don't have a lot of bridges where I'm at. We have like brooks and stuff that we have. I guess you call that a bridge, but it's not anything like the Brooklyn Bridge or the Golden Gate or anything like that. So, what happens when those things happen? You can't get to where you need to go, or you can't go get gas, and you need your generator because maybe the power's out or what have you. These are things that I'm starting to think about now, more so than before. Now, seeing some of these protests that are happening everywhere, and we still have the border wide open. I think we just gave $91 billion or something like that to Ukraine, and unfortunately, there's only a few senators that were speaking out against this. representatives in the House that were speaking out against this, because a lot of it is going unaccounted for. So there's a lot of different aspects to this snowball that's happening, and I think we need to start preparing more and more. And here's another one. Like, there was a spot that lost electricity, and now you have the FBI chief here coming on and saying that the Chinese hackers have infiltrated critical U.S. infrastructure. So this was an interesting article. This was on The Guardian. The other one was on Newsmax. I have another one about Columbia over on the Hill, depending on where you want to go. But this one I found interesting because of the fact that now we are talking about our infrastructure and things going down or being stopped. And I mean, honestly, if we can't even, not only can we not secure our own borders, we can't even secure our own infrastructure from cyber attacks. Like, what are we doing out there? We're more concerned about securing the borders over at Ukraine. And I really don't care what side of the fence you are on that. I just think it's bad business for us, and we need to start taking care of what's going on here in the U.S. before we end up a third world country in the route we're going. So, anyways, boy, it's been a lot that's happened since the last time we talked, and I don't want it to be all doom and gloom. We're going to get back to a regular schedule this week now that I can be up. I've got to get caught up on some schoolwork also. So tonight's a town council meeting, so I got to go there and speak out as always. So again, I think it's important that we all start getting involved at our local level within your town, whether it's your independent party, your libertarian party, your RTC, heck, even your Democratic Party in your area. I think that all these parties need to, it'd be great if you just wipe all the parties off and just say, hey, what makes sense? Like, just sending all this money to Ukraine where they have no plan on winning. Does it make sense to waste all of our tax dollars money? I mean, we're probably like 8 generations deep that are going to be paying off this debt if it even happens, right? So I think that we need to get involved at the local level. We need to start using common sense. We need to start doing things that put American people first. We need to start doing things to secure our borders, and I don't think a lot of that's going to happen until we have governors and local officials that say, no, you're not sending us all your, like it's Abbott and what's his name in Florida. Yeah, we're going to send you, we're going to send up illegal immigrants. No, send them back across the border. You're just facilitating what's going on by sending them to a different state. And I think that's where we all need to realize that we're all a border state, and we all need to start saying, hey, listen, this isn't going to fly here. And again, this is where it's going to come into play with associations where you get your group together. Maybe you're all in different towns and a whole group of 50 of you that meet once a month to discuss something, to just have that camaraderie, to do a potluck, to learn a life skill, whatever it is, whatever your reason for association. And you all get together and say, okay, hey, Mr. Smith in our group has a town council meeting on Tuesday night. We need at least 25 members to show up to support him. And then you all go and support him, and they start seeing these numbers of people coming up. Things are going to change. And unfortunately, it's not going to happen until then. Hey, thanks for the, yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you for the prayers. I've had a lot of people praying, and it's not as the doctor basically said that, hey, listen, it's better than what I expected it to be, considering of this is now the third eye surgery on that one eye. Like, it's not really good to have the eyeball cut up so many times. So right now I can kind of see stuff if it's bright enough out. It's still fairly bloodshot, even though it doesn't look like it on camera. And the I got about 6 to 12 months of healing, and then they'll take the oil out of my eye. So I'm stuck with oil in my eye for at least 12 months, or minimum 6 to 12. But yeah, I think there's more we need to start doing with associations. And like I said, there was really no agenda today. I hope some people are going to jump on, ask some questions. I didn't really expect anybody to. I thought it would be nice, but considering we have been MIA for like the last week and a half, makes perfect sense. People kind of forget about you, go about their daily lives, getting their preps done, working on their homestead, that sort of thing, figure out how they're going to run their association. So, yeah, I just think that as things go forward, we're going to be more consistent here now that everything's kind of somewhat back together. And I think we really need to start focusing locally on building our associations and connecting with other associations to really start bringing these groups together of like-minded individuals. I know here in Connecticut, I'm part of at least 1, 2, 4. So there's 4 groups that I am part of. One is set up as an official association. The other ones are kind of like loosely just, hey, we get together. Eventually, it'd be great to see them have their own bylaws and people in position of authority to kind of run and make everything smooth and stuff like that. And then, I kind of see the pros and cons of people wanting to do that. Sometimes once you set that up and you have everything in place, it kind of feels like, geez, now I got to provide something to everybody, which shouldn't be the case. It's like, hey, we're getting together. Like we were supposed to have a meeting with people from Liberty House, and it rained and we were going to do something outside. So we're like, hey, we're going to postpone it to May. See you guys all in May. Stuff like that happens. The other guy groups, I met up with a couple of them the other night. One of my buddies drove just because just driving at night and I'm not 100% sure where I'm going, trying to follow the GPS, one eye, and I had LASIK in my eyes before all this. So this is technically the fourth surgery, or will be the fourth surgery when I have the oil moved. Kind of makes halos around things at night. So anybody that has laser eye surgery, you understand that driving at night is a little bit challenging because of the way that lights look. So I've missed roads and stuff like that driving around. So that's why I think it's been a little bit of a challenge. But so we meet with these groups, and I meet up with all these guys and ladies and stuff, and we talk about things. And it's what's great is you start building these network of like-minded individuals. And I have a person, her and I grew up together through high school and stuff. She used to, she moved away years ago. As far as I know, I haven't seen her probably since the last high school reunion. And she put out on Facebook, hey, listen, some things went down. Her son was sick, some issues with the ex, and she was basically starting over. So I said, okay, let me know what you need. I went to all my groups. I was like, listen, folks, I got somebody in need. What can we do to help them out? And I've got people like, hey, I've got clothing. Hey, I've got a bed. Hey, I've got this. And now I'm going to get all this stuff together and go meet her. She's about 4 hours from me. So we're going to meet halfway and say, hey, here's everything that, these communities were able to put together. Now, they don't know who she is. They just know that because I'm asking and I'm one of their members, that they say, okay, this is somebody that Aaron knows, somebody that Aaron's helping. It's not like just going and dropping your stuff off of the Salvation Army, which I think is good. It's more personalized. And I think this is the benefit of building these associations and growing them. And that way there, if something does happen, like, hey, I had a member, she actually runs Liberty House with me. She's like, listen, you were, don't take this the wrong way. You were the last person that I wanted to call because I know how busy you are. You got the new house, the homestead, you're cutting down trees, blah, blah, blah. I have a flat tire. Can you help me? I'm like, yeah, sure. Turn into an all-day project because her spare probably hadn't been dropped in 2 decades and it was completely rusted. And BJ's, the warehouse store, wouldn't replace the flat or fix the tire, plug it because it wasn't bought there. So we had to jack the car up, put it on blocks, take the tire to town fair. They fixed the tire, brought it back. We got lunch while they were fixing it, put it back on. But I'm like, those are things, that's the whole reason for the communities and having that association and building those communities. Now, granted, you could have an association for something else. I've talked to people this past week that were, for butcheries. I've set up other butcheries that operate as an association. Not only are they teaching butcher skills, but they also will process members' animals for them. And so there's a bunch of stuff in between there that you can do, whether it's, holistic type of living or community based. And so I think with everything that's going on that we talked about earlier, for those of you who are on now, thanks. I think we had 3 on today. That's awesome. Let me know where you're watching from. But overall, we see the turmoil, we see the open borders, we see the protests on college campuses, we see everything just falling apart around us. And the only way I think to get this train back on the tracks is, 1, to start local, and 2, to start with your local groups, and then start working our way up the political arena if you choose to. But we have to start taking care of ourselves because nobody's going to come and save us. Nobody's sending the U.S. $91 million or $1 billion, whatever the heck it was that we just sent to Ukraine, right? Nobody's sending us money. And that's not even our money. We're probably borrowing the money from China to send to them. So, it's one of those things where we need to start getting these associations up and running. We need to start bringing members in. We need to start fortifying and having the defense in depth in what we're doing and setting up all these different associations with different members and connecting and building that society. So anyways, we're at about 30 minutes now. I just wanted to kind of give you an update on what's been going on. We got no questions in the question queue here for comments. Got it. It's been pretty quiet on the channel lately, but hopefully we get back on a regular schedule. I see some of the regulars back on here. We get some questions answered and we get some more. I got to stop hitting the desk like that. We get some more interviews going. Later on this week will be Dr. Graves. I got to give him a call now. But thank you all for watching the replay. Thank you for watching the live. And I look forward to seeing you guys all tomorrow. Peace.